Hey, we're back. We were just doing this last night, a 2-commitment night for Illinois football on Sunday night. But Monday, even better, as they get 4, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 commitments on the state. Not a perfect day as one of their top targets heads to a Big Ten rival. But welcome into the Illini Inquirer Podcast. We have assembled the crew once again. It's Jeremy Werner, Ryan Easterling, and Joey Wagner. So Luke Williams decides to go to Purdue, but other than that, this is one of the best Illinois football recruiting days that I can remember in quite some time. I'll throw it to you here, Ryan, but I just want to recap for everyone. Tysean Griffin, Morgan Park, out of Chicago, athlete, played the slot for Illinois. He's a top 500 prospect in the country, top 12 prospect in the state. He commits to Illinois. Eddie Tuerk, a top 500 prospect, top 12 prospect in the state out of Lyons Township. Offensive/defensive lineman, not sure yet where he'll play. He's not sure yet where he'll play, but he's a good lineman. He's hopped on board with Illinois. 3-star wide receiver out of Tennessee, Carlos Orr, hops on board. And we delayed the podcast not only because my daughter was having a little tantrum, but also because we were waiting for 3-star offensive lineman Zafir Stewart, who announces his commitment out of Pennsylvania. Yes, Ryan, that is 4. That's we're kind of going back and forth on text message. That's the best Illinois football recruiting day since when?
Oh, man, it's probably been a while. I mean, they've had a few small days, like early in the Lovie Smith period where they got Ricky Smalling, Kendall Smith, had that great visit day on campus. But I can't think of a time short of maybe some of the Zook signing days where they've had this kind of success in such a short period of time, just landing some of their key targets. So, this was, I mean, they built the weekend up big, and this was the kind of result they were expecting from it, and they delivered, I'd say, for the most part. I mean, you mentioned it, Luke Williams gets away, and I know there's a lot of people that have heartburn over that, but they went 6 of 7, essentially, on the guys that have committed thus far out of that weekend. That's pretty dang good, and they got a lot of them to commit quick. Like, there's some other guys that are still taking visits, so it's not all said and done yet, but they've had 7 guys that visited this weekend make commitments, and 6 of them were to Illinois. So that's a pretty good hit rate.
Yeah, Joe, I was gonna head there. We talked about what's going to be their hit rate. Last year was 16 of 24 on these official visits. So far, 6 of the guys who visited, of the 14, have committed to Illinois. That's a pretty good start, and we'll see what happens in the coming weeks for guys like Carson Conkle, Ricky Knight, Darian Dupree, Xavier Lucas, right? But that's a pretty good start. And we talked about you got to start the class, you got to fill it out here. All of a sudden, you're up to 8 commitments just like that, or 9. Sorry, it's 9 commitments.
Joey, you are muted.
Man,
going
back to April of 2020 over here.
We're all still trying to figure out technology.
I know it's new to me. Look, when the program puts so much stock into these visits, and if you really distill, like we talk about the month of June, but this year you can distill it down to really 2. It was last weekend, and then not this weekend, but coming up. Like, you've got to have a high hit rate, and I think it tells you a lot about maybe where they feel they stand when they decide to bring in official visitors. Now, you're going to take some Hail Mary shots, right? I mean, that's remember a few years ago they brought in Micah Riley Ducker, the tight end, who Auburn ended up being where he went. Like, that was a Hail Mary. You've got enough visits, you can take a couple of those. But I think when you start seeing, like, what we know and have enough of a body of work about how this staff goes, that if someone's coming here for an official visit, that's not like a sign that says, hey, they're going to commit. Like, you should know that you need to monitor that one. If that's your jam and you like to monitor recruiting, like, that's one you want to monitor throughout that commitment and when they announce. But yeah, big hit rate. Like, obviously the big one that they lost, that's going to sting. They wanted him. He's an in-state guy, but they had a really good day, and they got guys, I know we'll get into them, that they hadn't been in these battles. They hadn't won these battles. You're starting to see that kind of turn, and that's a natural progression of programs coming around, getting built, the pitches changes, all that change. And now you're starting to see Illinois maybe reap some more rewards of some of those.